Welcome back to Armchair Author Chats. I'm your host, Rita Slanina, and today we have another beautiful author that we are going to chat with. Jodee Dean Daniels is a novelist hailing from the Deep South, where the stories are as rich as traditions. Her unique voice might not be everyone's cup of tea, but she's a double shot of whiskey for those who crave bold, unfiltered tales. Let's bring her on the show. Welcome, Jodie.
Hello. Hi, how
How
are
are
you?
you?
Good.
Good
How are
morning.
you? Good morning. I know we're up early
Good.
today.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, you
you
are.
are.
So, welcome to the show.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I'm so
I'm so
excited to be
excited to
here.
be here.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
having
having
me.
me.
Oh, you're so very welcome. I
It's
adore
a
you.
fun.
So, let's start with your latest book, The Ledger. How would you pitch it in one sentence?
The
The
Ledger
Ledger
is
is
my
my
first
first
book.
book,
And
and
it
it
was the
was the
beginning
beginning
of
of
my
my
trilogy.
trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
my
my
the
the
where I'm
where
on
I'm
the
on the
fourth book
fourth book
now, and
now,
it's
and
The
it's The
Assassin,
Assassin,
and
and
it
it
should be
should be
out
out
soon. And
soon. And
I
I
would
would
say
say
it
it
is
is
a
a
tale of
tale of
redemption.
redemption.
A
A
Tale of
tale of
Redemption. Oh,
redemption.
I
Oh, I
can't hear
can't
you
hear
all
you
of a
all of a
sudden.
sudden.
So, I will be muting and
Oh,
unmuting because we are working
okay.
through an echo situation with my streaming software. I know it's going on like a month now of dealing with it. So,
Okay.
I'll mute
Got it.
Got it.
when you're talking. So, when you see that, that's why.
Okay.
And for the
Okay.
audience, thank you for being patient with us with that because it's, I don't know why it can't get fixed. We're still, I don't know, but we're working on it. So, what was the spark that set the assassin story in motion? Did it come from real life experience, a dream, or something totally unexpected from the first couple of books in the series?
The the entire series came from what if questions. I was going through cancer treatment and I was very afraid of the radiation machine because it passed very close to my face. And because I had breast cancer, so the machine had to be up high. So I was talking to Sarah Cannon and another one of my friends in the Hardys, and they were like, "Play the what if game." Yeah, the Hardys. I love them so much. And they're like, "Play the what if game." So I started playing the what if game, and that is how this book came to be. And I just kind of went from there. And The Assassin is all about Sozo, who is Lily's mentor. And he's kind of mysterious throughout the first three books. And we finally kind of get his story and see where and how he came to be who he is today. And it's all about redemption. His name Sozo means redemption in Greek.
So, I love this book. I may have a little insight on it.
You have the
You have the
inside
inside
scoop.
scoop.
So, how much fun was it to write from Zozo? Because I felt like he was so active and he was so proactive in a lot of, oh, how do I say this without giving anything away? Um, Handling his business, making sure other people's business is handled, and the like.
He was a lot of fun to write for me. He always has been, even from the first book, because I love how he refers to Lily as young miss. He still treats her as if she is, his little 5-year-old that he taught, to become who she is today. Um, it was really fun getting into his backstory because I kind of already knew it and I had it written kind of had little blurbs of where I thought what had turned him into who he is today. And you see that he did not start out as the guy in the white hat. And you get to find out why he changed his name to Sozo and all of his um, ties from his past kind of come back and threaten the people he loves. And it's time for the assassin to return.
And the way you weaved all that together is masterful. So just
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
for y'all who don't know, you better wake up. catch up on the books
Mm-hmm.
and get to Assassin because it's yes. What's the thing? Chef's
Yeah,
kiss.
chef's kiss.
So your characters feel really real to me. So do you base them
Mm-hmm.
on people you know, or do they take on a life of their own as you write?
Um, Maggie from one of my books, she is the NSA director, and then we find out that she's actually Lily's mom. But she kind of is loosely based on my mom, and believe it or not, the other side of her is kind of loosely based on my dad because my father was in the intelligence for the United States. So a lot of my knowledge about how things work within the government, I kind of pull from my dad. But when it comes to like the mother aspect and the mother bear getting upset, I pull from my mom. But my other characters are really just kind of straight from my head. Um, and I do have one that is kind of one of the grandmotherly ones is kind of based on my nanny loosely, my grandmother. But yeah, mainly they come from my noggin, my what if noggin. Yeah.
I love the what if noggin and the what if game.
Hmm.
I love that you can pull from your dad's career. And I mean, what a fascinating upbringing. I just, was there any,
He had a yeah. He had a there was a thing that he would always say with me, if the door is shut, to my office, you know, daddy's busy. But he transitioned, I think, fully. We thought, until he passed away, we thought he had fully transitioned into the private sector. But then after he passed away, I found documentation that he was still working for the government up until I was probably 22, 23. So yeah, he was a sneaky little guy.
that's so exciting because it's so like those movies and TV shows. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
I'm
into
I'm
like Reacher as of lately. I've been watching the new Reacher series, and that
Mhm. Yeah.
actor is just whew. But
Yeah.
I digress.
Yeah.
And I love how he's like sort of like on under the radar, and it just reminds me like
Mhm.
I bet your dad is just out there being all Reacher, like just you're just sitting there. Oh, he's home for dinner, no biggie. Like just thought he was
He
just
was
hanging out at the golf course.
he was always just one of those guys that you felt totally safe with. Like if you were anywhere, you knew you were safe and taken care of. So pretty cool, pretty cool. I'm thinking about
So cool.
trying to get it all together to write a book about dad, but getting that
I'm
all
here
together.
for it.
Mhm.
I will be the first one in line. So, why writing can be a wild process. Do you have any quirky habits, routines, or must-have rituals when writing a book?
I have to have a lit candle. I pull my blinds too. I have a beautiful view, but when I'm writing, it's just too bright. So I pull this too for the most part. I light a candle and I turn on some like lo-fi music and I put my cans on so I can't hear anything around me and I just write. That's like I would say that's my ritual. I let everybody know, hey, I'm writing. If the door's shut, I'm like my dad, if the door's shut, don't knock.
Isn't that funny? We turn into our parents. That commercial
Yeah.
that jokes about that is very true.
Yes, it's very true.
I love those habits. I love those rituals. So, what was the most rewarding or challenging part of writing The Assassin? Did anything about the story surprise you along the way?
Yeah. Um, I think because I'm so deep into book 4, into the series, I really had to go back and dig through the series Bible and make sure there was consistencies, that there weren't any plot holes that had been dropped. I did find a major plot hole that had been dropped from book 3 going into book 4 that took some time to kind of combat. I'm going to call it combat. But that was the hardest, but it was so much fun just because I was getting to finally write his story. To be honest, I really wanted to start with his story, but it didn't make sense because Lily's the leader of the team of 8. So I started with Lily. So it was so much fun. Yeah.
And for those of watching, would you explain what a series Bible is if some of us don't already know?
Oh, absolutely. Here.
This is fun.
Actually,
I
I
love
have
this.
mine. I have mine.
This
This
is
is
the best
mine
kept
for
secret for
yes, this
newbie
is the best
writers.
kept.
This is a great, great tip.
In between, I have all of my scenes um, from all of my books. And what I do is I go back through it, and then I make notes and make sure before I start writing that I haven't missed anything. But the thing about this was it was so nuanced, and in the third book I brought it in as a plot bunny, so I didn't really want to bring a lot of attention to it, and I did such a good job that I forgot about it. So
Whoops!
so
Who
we
was
have
held captive underwear and never resurfaced? What?
exactly.
Just kidding.
It's like in the what was that show? Oh, it's in All My Children, where the oldest Martin boy goes upstairs to clean his skis, and he's never seen again.
Never seen or heard from again, and who knows?
Never
Yes.
seen or heard from again. Yeah,
Get
it was
Liam
that.
Neeson on the case. Maybe
It was
he can
it
find
was this close. It's this close. Okay, Mama.
But for those of you newbie writers, or maybe if you're stuck, you're a good writer and you're just kind of stuck, a series Bible I have found has been one of the best ways to keep track
Right.
of multiple characters, even if whether you're doing multiple POV or not. I think it's a great way to keep track of
Yeah.
things and scenes and plots and where the heck's everyone going, and then we
And
don't
if
end
you
up with all the
don't,
children situation.
if you don't want to um, keep an analog, you can keep them digitally. I tried that, but it didn't really resonate with me. So yeah, so I went back to what I knew. But I mean, I'm old school. I'm not one of these new 20-year-olds coming along doing everything on their phone and online. I mean, I love my phone. But as far as like doing Notion, or I love OneNote, and I do write my stories in OneNote. So I will like highlight things before I bring them over and I format them in Atticus. I will do, I have OneNote. So I guess I kind of do both, but I really, really rely on the analog system.
Oh yeah, I'm a carve initials in a tree girl all day. I am so old school. It's not even funny. Like
I know.
I can
It's
totally relate. I still would rather. I mean, I read some books online or whatever if I'm helping a beta read or something along those lines, and you have to work together. Yeah, see, I know. And then it's like, and then I'll forget though. Like I have Amazon. What is it? Unlimited? Is it the unlimited
yeah.
thing or whatever?
Yeah.
I forget I have books on there. I have no idea. It'll get a reminder in my e-box. Are you going to return this book? Oh, I forgot I had it. Okay. I'd rather have the physical. I'm just, yeah.
I am reading Sarah's The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw on my Kindle. So I'm trying. I'm trying. But there's just something about holding a physical book, especially if it's a library book. I love library books.
And isn't it feel weird when you're like, I like to read in bed. It's the only time I literally have time to read for fun. Like, that's it. So when I'm in bed, I don't really want my phone or a laptop. I want the book, and I want to break free from the blue light and all the tech. Bleh. Yeah.
Yeah, I do that too. I was having a really hard time falling asleep at night because I would have story ideas just pop into my head and I couldn't get my brain to shut off at night. And I would have my phone right there and I would write down notes and stuff like that. And it was getting to be a serious problem. So I got to where I plug in my phone. I have a long enough cord where I can kind of put it over into my bathroom suite. And then I get my book and I get in bed with a really soft bed light and I just sit there and I read until I fall asleep, feel sleepy, and then I'm going to sleep and sleeping through the night now. I'm not waking up. So, yeah, the blue light it's real.
It's
It's
so
real.
real. I started removing all our digital stuff out. Like I took out the TV out of the bedroom like years ago, which the
Yeah.
hubs totally fought, but I won. And
Mhm.
and
We don't
we're
have a
better
TV
for
yet.
it, so we haven't had one in there. And then we had the laptop in there for a while, and that's finally gone too. And everyone sleeps better.
I
It's just
know.
it's like a you
Just
can tell
very
we're
peaceful.
urging the audience to stop the blue light at
Yes,
night.
guys. Please trust these two ladies who know.
So publishing can be a roller coaster. What's been your biggest wow or what just happened moment in your journey so far?
Ooh, I'm not going to name any names, but I did for legal purposes. I did my first book was a hybrid publish and I had to go through a lot to get my rights back to that book. Um the book itself, the reason that people know me and everything is because of that book, is because of this one. It sold a lot of copies. Um I saw pennies from it, from what it made. My advice would be don't get sucked into your ego saying, oh my God, I'm going to be published by blank, blank. Um, and let that, you know, convince you to do it. Um, it's not enough in the publishing world to read your contract, have an attorney read your contract. It's not like I signed blindly. I read everything, my husband read everything, but when you go back through it with an attorney, there's loopholes. Um, and I had to fight tooth and nail to get this book back. And I will never, I'm not going to say never publish trad again, but it would take a lot. It would take a lot and it would take, a lot of attorney fees and time and all that kind of good stuff. So I would just say to anybody, when you're publishing, as long as you're getting your books out into the hands of readers, it doesn't matter which way you go. I know that there's some people who look down on indie publishing, and you know what? They can look down on it all day long, and twice on Tuesday, I'm still selling books, and my books are getting into the hands of my people, and that's all I care about. So that would be my wow moment, and that would be my advice.
I think that is beyond the moon exceptional advice. And if you don't even know like what kind of lawyer to get, I would venture into like was it an entertainment lawyer?
Yes.
It was. Okay, that's what I thought. So I did this in the music business too. So you a lot oftentimes an entertainment lawyer will consult with you
And copyright.
and your copyright. Yes, people get make sure you do that too. I have a fun backstory for that off air. I will tell you. Miss Thing about that. Remind me.
She's in there now.
Yeah. So if you're new to indie publishing or trad
Yeah.
publishing, whichever way you want to go, it takes. It might be couple $100 if they're going to actually
Yeah.
look over your contract, but it is worth it. And
Mhm. Yeah.
great advice.
Yeah.
Great
I
advice.
think to be like transparent, I think it was $500 what we ended up, because I think he was $200 an hour, and it took him 2.5 hours to go through everything. And so that was the consultation for the rest of the books. Now for this, my poor sweet husband, he shelled out some money to get that back from mama. But
We
yeah, she's
love
mine
you,
now.
Mr. Jodee Dean Daniels. Thank you
Well,
for
it's
supporting
funny
my
because
name so much.
my author name comes from my dad's, and he was Joseph Douglas, so Jodee, and my name was almost Jodee. They almost named me Jodee. My mother's middle name is Jean, and my husband's name is Daniel Stephen, so Daniels. So I've got like the three people that I love the most, besides my kiddos, kind of wrapped in there. Yeah, but Dan's the
That's a
man.
great story. I love hearing how that comes to be. It's better than the
Mhm.
street name to the middle name
Yeah,
game.
I've
You
seen
remember
that.
that? So
Your
every writer
pets,
has
your first pet's name, the first street you ever lived on. That was
yes.
it. Mine would
Mine
have
was
been Ginger Parks. That sounds like a stripper.
mine would have been Anna Doyle.
Anna Doyle.
I know.
I love it. I love it. That's so much fun. We're having way too much fun.
We are, and I'm sure the audience is as well. So every writer has those stuck moments. We're learning a lot too today, by the way.
Yeah.
How do you get past writer's block or creative slumps, if you have them?
I live in the country. So I go for a walk into the out of the backyard into the pasture, into the back pasture, where my neighbors that we meet, they have horses, and I just stand out there and watch them and talk to them, and something about just being outside for a little while will kind of clear my brain, and then I just kind of take a walk around, and when I come back inside, I think just walking away from it sometimes is enough to get me going again. If I find that I am just totally locked down and don't want to write, that's when I have to step away and say, am I burnout? Have I pushed myself too far? And do I need to take a couple of self-care days and not go in my office? And that's hard for me because I'm pretty close to being a workaholic. I really was when I worked as a vendor for the Treasury Department. I was a workaholic. I loved what I did. And on top of that, I was writing as well. So working 60 hours a week kind of really meant nothing to me. It was like the norm. And then I realized as a writer full time, I couldn't do that and stay creative. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something to be said about giving the brain a break and
Yeah.
living your life a little bit and
Mhm.
rejuvenating and all that. I like that. I
Absolutely.
like that. So let's dream big. If The Assassin were turned into a movie or TV series, because I could totally see this as that, who would you cast in lead roles?
Oh, wow. I have I think that I would want my books are set in Bangkok, Thailand, and I watch a lot of Thailand TV. A friend of mine kind of got me on to watching stuff with her. So a lot of the actors that I would want are from Thailand. What I can't think of his last name. His first name is Perth. And he's an actor he's from Australia, but he's Thai, and he did some roles in Thailand. There's several of those actors that are just so they need to be seen by the world. They are so incredible that I would want to bring them into, I mean, it's their city, it's their town. Even if it was being shot somewhere else, they would be able to bring it to life.
So they could
So
represent it,
better.
probably the most accurate, right? Yeah,
Right,
that's great.
right.
I love that.
culturally, I really think like, Bible Summit, Boss and Noel, there's several people that I really think they would really be able to play the parts really well. Really, really well.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So books have the power to change us. What's one book besides your own that has deeply impacted you?
My Antonia by Willa Cather. I love My Antonia.
And if you could have a dinner party with three literary characters, yours or someone else's, who would you invite and why?
Three. Let's see. Let's see if I can narrow it down to three.
You
I
would be
would.
a full party, let's just face it.
I know.
Because you
Every.
are fun, girl. You are so fun.
I am the party. um, I think I would love to have dinner with. This is a throwback, but I would love to have dinner with Sookie Stackhouse from Southern Vampire Mysteries, just so I could shake her and say, what were you thinking? Um, I would love to have dinner with um probably Anita Blake. I love Anita Blake from the Vampires, from Laurel K. Hamilton's series, and I would have her bring Jean Claude, her vampire hubby, just
Okay,
because
add to the list.
ancient, and I would love to get all of those stories that he has. Yeah, I wouldn't want to. I don't want to get bit, but tell me all the stories. And if you no, I do love. I haven't written one yet, but I do love a good vampire book.
Oh,
I
they're
do.
so enthralling, right? They're
Yeah.
just so like I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't have a word besides enthralling because I know like
Yes,
oh.
they're really good. Mhm.
So what's one piece of advice you'd give to aspiring writers who hope to follow in your footsteps?
Don't give up. It's easy to look at how much time and energy you're putting into something for such little reward at first, and it's very easy to just be like, this is just not worth it. You have to just remind yourself that it is worth it. As long as it's something that you enjoy and it's filling your soul while you write, just keep trying, keep pushing, get your book out there. And even if something you write, um, even if it resonates with like one person and helps them, then you've achieved your purpose. I had someone, I had a very touching scene in the ledger, and it's kind of a theme that goes throughout. They say, blood is thicker than water, but love is thicker than blood throughout the book. And she and your found family, it's all about that. And the person that wrote me, it was very heartwarming and very, this really helped me. It helped me realize I'm not alone. I do have a family. They're just my found family. And that meant so much to me. So yeah, so that would be my advice, is just don't give up. Keep going.
Yeah, I love that. What's next for you? Can you give us a sneak peek at any exciting projects or stories in the works?
I have a YA. It might even be middle grade. I'm not sure yet. That's going to come out under the name JJ Daniels. That way, I figure my readers won't get confused. It is a sci-fi. It is called Chasing the Unseen, and it is all about a young girl who, well, she's not a young lady, I should say, who comes home from work. She's a little bit put out with her sister. She didn't pick her up, and she comes in to see a swirling spiral of waters, things she's coming out of it like that she doesn't understand what they are, and her sister is fighting them. her sister yells, "Get her out of here, save her." And she runs into the light after. And then there's an explosion. And when she wakes up, she's in the hospital and being told she hallucinated it all and that it was her mind's way of coping with seeing her sister die in the explosion. So we kind of go from there as to, did she see it? Did she not? And then we move into coming into her own and going to find her sister.
Oh my gosh, I love this. I'm on the side of she totally saw this. Let's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a ride. It's gonna be a ride. It's
That
gonna be
is
a
going to
ride.
be exciting. So, a couple fun bonus questions. If you had to describe your writing style in 3 words, what would they be?
Total hot mess. Yeah, when I'm doing my zero draft, and I do call it a zero draft, I just get the story out and put it down, on paper, and I don't worry about grammar, spelling, words, timing. And I worry about the pace and and structure. I keep that in my head just so revisions aren't a bear. But yeah, yeah, it's not pretty. The first go is not pretty, y'all, and it doesn't have to be.
I love it. Total hot mess. Writing fuel, coffee, tea, or something stronger?
I have to say coffee. Um, if I really need to relax, I have been known to put a splash of Moscato over my crushed ice in my water bottle. But I always make sure I'm at home when I do that. Mm,
Yes, let's do that
yes,
responsibly, friends.
yes, please.
Well, thank you so much, Jodee Dean
You're welcome.
Daniels, for being here. Would you like to leave our audience with the details on how they can buy your books and how to find out more about you?
I am on the 3 books right now, The Ledger, The Replica, and The Stolen. They can be found on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, anywhere that you buy your books, Kobo, BookBub, Goodreads, all that kind of good stuff. If you want to find me and support me, I have a link tree that I'm going to give to Rita to put in the description here. And yeah, you can find me on YouTube at Jodee Dean Daniels Just Right. I do live streams where we have themed live streams where I give you writing advice during our breaks. And yeah, we have a lot of fun over there at Just Right. So join us, and that would be awesome. I always welcome more members. That would be great to grow our community.
I love that. Thank you so much. We'll see you
Thank
soon.
you. Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
If you like this interview, please like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to share. And for more information, as mentioned, links will be in the description box below and also in the show notes on the podcast.